Hi there. This week, my video for you is actually an answer to a question that a mom posted in my Facebook group that I'm going to share with you right now. And it has to really do with this concept of how do kids show up when they feel out of control. This mom says, my 12-year-old has always been curious and intelligent, wanting to learn about everything. Now that he's getting older, he doesn't understand boundaries with me. He wants to know everything. What is it I'm laughing at, even if I'm not talking to him? Who's calling? What are they saying? Who's texting? What did they say? Where am I going? What am I going to be doing when I'm not with him? It's exhausting. And then he gets suspicious if I don't answer his questions. And that drives me crazy too. He's acting like he's my dad or something. So bizarre. How can I get him to let go more and mind his own business? I need my space. Oh my gosh. I just want to first say that this is a really common scenario and my heart goes out to you because it is exhausting and frustrating and it probably does feel bizarre. Absolutely. So the one little soundbite that I'm going to give you to kind of think of this through is when people feel out of control, they tend to become more and more controlling. This isn't just kids, adults too, right? Think about how we as parents behave when we feel like we're out of control with our kids. We start to become way, way, way more controlling, even getting like micromanagey and tyrannical with our kids because we feel so out of control. And kids are no exception. They fall into this wheelhouse totally 100% as well. And sometimes it looks like what this mom is describing, right? Where this kid is just totally butting into her business and wanting to know things that's really not necessary and having a really hard time, not really being like in the mix all the time. But it can also look like other things, like kids who become super bossy and trying to butt into everything, kids who are super, super clingy, way outside the appropriate age for separation anxiety. And speaking of anxiety, kids who have a lot of anxiety about what's going on with all the different people in their family and trying to really manage the family, right? Most of the time when that's happening, the first thing that I look for is to see if this kiddo might be feeling out of control. And that's a really common way for us to feel at different times in our life. So for this 12-year-old kiddo, it'd make perfect sense for him to feel out of control right now. He's on the cusp of adolescence. His head, his heart, his body are all changing. He might be in a new school or a weird kind of tumultuous middle school situation. It's a pretty crazy time for most kids. And so it would make perfect sense for him to feel a little bit out of control right now and for maybe his normal attachment behaviors to have become exacerbated in this moment because he's feeling like he needs to be in control. But doesn't have to just be a 12-year-old, right? Lots of things in this world can make us feel insecure and unstable. A move, something happening with a friend, starting in a new school, maybe parents separating or a new sibling being born. All of those things make our world feel really shaky and unstable. And then we feel out of control. Then we want to start controlling everything. So the solution here is kind of a twofold approach. One is to be really holding firm, consistent boundaries and with consequences. And the more consistent and predictable this kiddo's world becomes, the sooner they'll be able to relax and release the need for being responsible for everything outside of themselves and actually begin to start exploring their relationship with things like uncertainty and instability. And that brings me to that second piece, that twofold approach. The second fold is creating lots of space for this kiddo to talk about how they feel, what they're experiencing, and to really experience all of their feelings. So when this mom said he gets really upset when I don't tell him and that drives me crazy, there you go. In the nutshell, right there is the work, because this kiddo's allowed to feel unhappy when he doesn't get what he wants, when mom holds her boundaries. And if it drives you crazy, you're a lot less likely to hold that boundary. So doing your own work so that you can actually create this neutral, empathetic space for your kiddo is really important. And that's that second piece, that emotional piece. If this sounds really complicated and speaking of uncertain and unstable, it would make perfect sense for that to feel that way. I'm talking about boundaries. I'm talking about consequences. I'm talking about empathy. I'm talking about neutrality. I'm talking about doing our own emotional work. Holy moly. It makes perfect sense to feel that that is a confusing and overwhelming and possibly unstable, out of control place to be. And that is why I am here. That's my job. And I am here for you all the time. Never hesitate to reach out to me to have a one-on-one conversation and take this work deeper than just an email. And in the meantime, I want to wish everybody a happy, warm, smooth transition into 2022 with all of the closeness and love and light that you are hoping for in this cold, wintry time of year. And I will talk to you all next week. Bye.